South Mississippi in a place called Moss Point, which I grew up around a lot of black businesses. And people always ask me, how did you ever become the idea of wanting to have your own business? And I always explain that I come from an 85% black town in Mississippi, and growing up, that's what I see is a lot. I happen to saw was a lot of black-owned businesses. So when I moved to Atlanta, my thing was that, I wanted to be able to make my mark, So Castleberry became that place where I really began to make my mark.
Well, Pearl Lounge is a restaurant, a concept that my sister came up with maybe 10 years ago before she moved from Philadelphia to the Atlanta area. Pearl was a vision that she set forth to, have people come in and enjoy home-style cooking and a great ambiance.
Dream Cafe is a cafe and empowerment lounge. We have the mission of empowering the community through creativity, culture, and commerce. We wanted to create an entity that would not only help to build up the lives of people, but would also demonstrate to people how we can be owners and not renters. We wanted a place where socialization would have a purpose, as well as giving the community something to be inspired by. So that's what Dream Cafe is to Castleberry Hills.
It goes without saying, I think I have a tremendous team. I don't have a staff. I don't have employees. I have a team. I have a family, and I feel blessed. I feel that I have a team that has not only embraced what I think and what I thought I wanted to accomplish, but they've added their energy and their input.
So the Peter Street block is a community, it's a family, and instantly from the day that I signed my lease for this space to today, I've always felt like I was a part of that community. But I had the benefit of being friends with the other owners before I actually decided to enter this business, and their support is how I got here.
I come from a different era at a different time where, growing up in rural South Georgia, there were not a lot of black-owned businesses, but it's nice to see that over the course of years that we have advanced. And it's nice when I come down in this area and all I see is black-owned businesses. It makes me feel good. It makes me know that given the right opportunity, that we can succeed, we can thrive.
Making good health taste good is something you all have done a very good job of here. But I wouldn't just recommend you to my black friends. I'd send everybody down here.
I'm a single mother, but I happen to be in business with my child's father, which means that we collectively co-parent and we collectively run a business, and we have been able to be professional enough to put our personal history aside for the better of our entire world.
I think this block also means a lot to people because it gives them an area we call our own to be able to come visit and patronize black-owned businesses. Don't get me wrong, it's not strictly totally all about just black businesses, but at the same time, we live in America. We love to support our businesses.
This small block, from Spinning Pie all the way down to where we are here at Dream Cafe and even the parking lot, number one, because the soil is owned by African Americans, blacks. But then on top of that, each and every business is owned and for the most part operated by, an African American as well. And so, or African Americans, whether the businesses have partners. And so that's something to be proud about, in my humble opinion, because I think that ultimately when you put yourself in a position to hire your own and create job opportunities or work opportunities for your people, not excluding any other race, but really giving your people an opportunity to put food on the table.
I remember when we first opened, we were getting ready for an event. It was raining. My firstborn son, he's 13, he came with me to help bring in inventory. So we're bringing in croissants and meat and whatever else. And he's bringing the stuff in the rain without complaining at all. And he tells me, he said, "Mama, sit down, I got it. I'm working for my family business." And that in and of itself was one of those God kiss moments, you know, because whenever you can give your seed the notion of owning their own business, you are empowering them not just for that moment, but for generations to come. And as a mother of African American sons, that's more important to me even than being an African American woman business owner, but to see that look in my son's eyes.
Now, being a mom also keeps me going. It also keeps me inspired. I am responsible for a little girl who's just 5 years old, and I don't want her to have to spend 18 years working for someone else to realize that she's smart enough and strong enough and powerful enough to do exactly what I'm doing now. So I am creating an environment for her that she will forever reap benefits from.
But when you're talking about doing a brick and mortar, that's a different beast, because you have to deal with a number of issues that, you know, outside looking in, you just don't think walking into a brick and mortar you'd have to deal with, i.e. something as small as insurance, something as small as inventory, payroll, taxes, just small things that on an everyday, day-to-day basis, something may come up.
It's true. I mean, I hate to say it, it's true. I mean, I think that our clientele is harder on us than they would ever be if they went to a white restaurant in Buckhead. I think their expectations are greater. I think they come in and they complain when there's nothing to complain about. You come and I'll give you the same product that you can get 10 miles away and for half the price, but they'll complain about it. And probably a better product than you would get there, and they'll complain about it.
The biggest challenge to me on the block, honestly, is parking. The parking kind of is a bit much at times because so many people love it over here. They want to come to the barbershop, come to the eatery places over here, and it's kind of hard to park sometimes.
And one of the issues that I think that we have with the neighbors is that they don't appreciate the sheer number of black faces that show up to their neighborhood Tuesday through Sunday to patronize my business. And it's very common whenever the conversation arises for them to say that it's not a race thing, but I'm smarter than that, and I've seen other areas in the city that operate very, 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 very similarly to ours that don't get the same pushback.
And when we voice our frustrations and we voice our problems, don't tell us it's in our minds. Don't tell us, that happened 150 years ago, when we see some of the very problems that happened 150 years ago still going on today.
In the 1800s, over 90% of African American people worked for white people. In the 2000s, over 90% of African American people worked for white people. I remember Zenona Clayton, she challenged me on that. She said, but you have so many African American entrepreneurs now. And that is true. You have a lot of African Americans, be they male or female, working for themselves, but not necessarily empowered with the infrastructure, enterprise, or some sort of set system to employ others. So that by itself, I think, is quite empowering, not only for myself as an African American woman, but as an African American, period.
We've done a study here in Atlanta even that the life expectancy in this zip code, 30311, I think it is 71. You can beat that, and I have, because I learned to eat right, and I learned to exercise. See, but in Buckhead, the life expectancy is 82. So even in Atlanta, you live longer if you're rich, see, and if you're in a rich neighborhood. Your hospital services are better, your schools are better.
The next logical steps with this is to say, okay, well, I don't want to just open up a Spin or 255. I want to talk to Shima and say, all right, Shima, can we open up a Pearl, talk to Karina with Blue Cantina, talk to Jay and Stevie with Dream, talk to Carl with Off the Hook and say, okay, well, look, we're all successful businesses. why don't we all look to purchase a strip mall?
This model is an amazing model, and it's definitely a duplicatable model. It could definitely be redone in cities everywhere.
Uplifting our community is putting together more communities across America to support one another and black-owned businesses.
What I love about this neighborhood, one, most of the businesses are all black owned, and that's rare that you see a whole block just full of black owned businesses. And I think it's very important for younger people to see that this is possible.
Love has been created, community has been created, camaraderie has been created, family has been created. It's, you know, this situation that we're a part of now has been created. It's allowed me to understand that, hey, we've created something here special as an entire block.
My father is of a Native American background. He said there are three things in life you can't change. He said the spoken word. He said the sped arrow. So sped arrow meaning once the bullet leaves the shaft and you take a life, you can't bring it back. And the third thing is translates into the canoe passing on the stream, which is a missed opportunity.